Welcome to Liverpool Report, your go-to for daily Liverpool FC news, transfers and match updates. If you're a true Red, hit subscribe and join the family. You'll never walk alone.
Liverpool are not done yet. After spending nearly $300 million this summer, the Reds are lining up a move for Crystal Palace star Mark Guehi. But there's a twist. Tottenham are ready to hijack the deal with Champions League football on offer. Can Liverpool pull off one more big signing, or will Spurs win the race? Let's dive into the full story. Liverpool are ready to continue their summer spending spree with a swoop for Mark Guehi. If Crystal Palace are willing to play ball and sell their star defender for under $50 million, the Reds will have spent close to $300 million once a deal for Hugo Ekitike is signed off later this week. The Frenchman will join Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez through the door at Anfield as the Premier League champions bid to beef up their squad. Their interest in Guehi has been well documented, and Palace's bargaining position is not as strong as it once was, with the England star now inside the final year of his contract. However, rival interest in the centre-back services from Tottenham could pose a problem for Liverpool. Spurs have cash to spend and, crucially, would also be able to offer Guehi Champions League football this season. And while Liverpool may be seen as a more attractive option to Guehi given their exploits in the Premier League last term, the Reds are not willing to pay over the odds after splashing some serious cash already this summer. Mirror Football outlined on Monday that Liverpool will move for Guehi if they feel he is attainable for less than the $50 million Palace are likely to demand. But if Tottenham are willing to meet said price tag, then that would likely give them the edge in the race for Guehi's signature. This summer may well represent Palace's last chance to sell Guehi if he refuses to sign a contract extension. Alternatively, the player could choose to run his deal down and move on a free transfer next summer. As well as a central defender, Liverpool are likely to try and sign another attacker if Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz depart before the firm September transfer deadline. Núñez is expected to move on, and Liverpool are happy to sell following the Uruguay international's poor 2024-25 campaign, particularly now that a deal for Ekitike has been agreed. It's a different story with Diaz. Liverpool want him to stay, but the Colombia star is understood to have told the club he wants to move this summer for a new challenge. Bayern Munich are expected to continue pursuing Diaz after seeing one bid for his services rejected already. Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak has his sights set on silverware, and that could spell trouble for the Magpies. With Liverpool ready to break the British transfer record to land the Swedish star, Isak's desire to win trophies and secure a bumper contract may be pushing him closer to Anfield. The 25-year-old has privately expressed frustration at Newcastle's refusal to negotiate, while his absence from the club's pre-season tour has only added fuel to the fire. Arne Slot reportedly dreams of pairing Isak with new $69 million man Hugo Ekitike in a bold new attack. But will the Reds meet the staggering $150 million valuation? Here's everything we know so far. Want-away Newcastle striker Alexander Isak previously outlined his ambitions to win titles, with Premier League champions Liverpool gearing up to make their move. The Reds have wasted no time in sharpening their squad for the upcoming season with a series of high-profile and expensive acquisitions, and they still want the Swedish striker through the doors at Anfield. With Liverpool ready to show their hand, Isak's head has been turned, but maybe the clues to Isak's future were there all along. As speaking back in March, the 25-year-old communicated his desire to land the game's biggest trophies. While he acknowledged his commitment to the Magpies, his words suggest that Isak is perhaps looking for a level of success and a contract that Newcastle simply cannot supply right now, with the club having been hamstrung by PSR profit and sustainability regulations. I've said many times, I don't really look too much or think too much about my future, Isak said 4 months back. Making clear his desire to win top-level silverware, he continued, "But yeah, I've said I'm happy here, and we are contenders for titles, which is what you want to win as a football player. The chances are there to win things. Yeah, as I've said, I'm not thinking about the summer, but that will be a talking point when the season is finished. No contract talks have been held yet. I have high ambitions. I'm trying to create my own history at Newcastle. Happy with what I have done so far, but always looking forward." Isak is now believed to be privately frustrated after Liverpool's initial approach was rebuffed by the North East side, as per Sky Sports. Last week, Newcastle boss Eddie Howe confirmed that Isak would not be joining Newcastle's pre-season tour after the player informed the club he wanted to explore his options regarding his future. The Swede's absence was blamed on a minor thigh issue, but this followed an episode where Isak was sent home ahead of Newcastle's 4-0 pre-season defeat to Celtic, with Howe judging that the player wasn't in the right frame of mind to play following speculation over his future. Events were then complicated by Liverpool's capture of Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt for an initial £69 million as a player who was extensively chased by Newcastle. Isak reportedly saw this as a possible end to his hopes of moving to Anfield. However, it seems that Reds boss Arne Slot is looking to structure an audacious system that features Isak and his new French striker. In his 3 years at Newcastle, Isak has become an icon. He has scored 62 goals and helped them win the Carabao Cup last season. Beating the very club in the final, he purportedly wishes to join this summer. Yet Isak's ambitions are clear and speak volumes. He wants to win trophies. And as one of the Premier League's best strikers, he also wants to earn a befitting wage, with upwards of £250,000 per week, said to be his target. Earlier this month, Isak's agent, Gonzalo Gaitan, told Saudi Arabian publication Ariadia that Isak's future may be coming to a conclusion sooner rather than later. "We are indeed studying and analysing all options," he said. "We may be close to finalising the next step for the player, without revealing any details regarding whether Isak will transfer or stay with Newcastle." Yet for all the bluster and might of Liverpool's current power in the transfer market, still, no bid has materialised yet. Isak also has 3 years left to run on his current deal. Newcastle are also believed to value the player at $150 million, meaning Liverpool will most likely have to shatter the British transfer record, again, by some margin, to drag a deal over the line. Quizzed on Isak's future this week, Howe said, "He is still our player. He's contracted to us. We, to a degree, control what is next for him. I would love to believe all possibilities are still available to us. My wish is that he stays, but that's not in my full control. We have not received a formal offer for Alex from any club. My wish is that he stays and we see him playing again next year." Liverpool's transfer window just went up a level. After big-name arrivals like Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez, the Reds are far from finished. With Luis Diaz on the verge of a £70 move to Bayern Munich, Arne Slot is already preparing for what's next. The biggest headline? A British record £150 million move for Newcastle striker Alexander Isak continues to build momentum, and even Eddie Howe is sounding uncertain about his future. Meanwhile, Liverpool have missed out on young star Malik Fofana, who's in talks with Everton. Let's break down the latest from Anfield's transfer frenzy. Liverpool have already made some big moves in the transfer market this summer, but Arne Slot and co are not done yet if recent noise is anything to go by. Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez and Hugo Ekitike have all been signed up to bolster a squad which won the Premier League title last term, and more incomings are expected between now and the transfer deadline. The Reds are understood to be keen on signing a centre-back after selling Jarol Kwanza to Bayer Leverkusen earlier this summer. And speculation linking Liverpool with a British record £150 million transfer for Alexander Isak simply refuses to go away. Eddie Howe has confirmed that there is no chance that Arsenal target Alexander Isak will join Newcastle on their pre-season tour of the Far East amid the current speculation over the striker's future. The Swede, 25, has been heavily linked with Liverpool this summer, and it emerged last week that he would not be joining Newcastle overseas, with the player keen to explore his options. Speaking after Sunday's 3-2 loss to Newcastle in Singapore, Howe was asked whether the club's star striker would be heading out to join them and replied, no chance, indicating that a parting of the ways could indeed be on the cards. Liverpool have agreed a deal in principle with Bayern Munich for the transfer of Luis Diaz. The Colombia winger, 28, has been linked with a move overseas in recent weeks and also had interest from Barcelona. It has also been noted that Diaz is keen on the idea of moving clubs this summer, though Liverpool were reluctant to sell. But the Guardian say Diaz is now close to leaving Liverpool after Bayern lodged a £70 million bid for the attacker, who was left out of the team that lost 4-2 to AC Milan on Saturday. Liverpool-linked Malik Fofana is now in talks to join Everton from Lyon this summer. The Reds and other of the Premier League's top clubs have been credited with an interest the uber-talented winger, who has scored 15 goals in 62 games for Lyon. The Athletic have confirmed that Everton and Lyon are in talks over a package for the 20-year-old with the Toffees, also in contact with the players' camp, to try and reach an agreement for a transfer.